Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now.
Hello everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the new episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City for the new season 4. This is episode 2. This was a supersized episode, so let's get started. The first scene of the episode was Lisa Barlow and Meredith Marks meeting up as they said that they would last week. They're going on a walk and catching up on their kids who are going to school, and Lisa tells her about her son who has decided to go on a mission. Meredith apologizes for even referencing any rumors about her last season, and they talk it over, and it actually went pretty well. They even hugged, and they said that they miss, having their families hang out and stuff like that. Do they trust each other 100%? Probably not, but it went pretty well. I think it's better to move on instead of just dragging things still all these years. And speaking of mending things, Whitney and Heather are hanging out at this place that has like bathtubs. They quickly talk about Mary being back, but Whitney mentions Angie K, and Heather pretty much says that she doesn't like her. They've known each other since high school, which is pretty interesting for like two housewives to go that far back. But yeah, Heather doesn't like her or trust her, but Whitney seems to like her. Then they talk about Lisa. Whitney tells Heather that about the mission Lisa's son is going on, and it kind of triggers something in Heather because she herself went on a Mormon mission when she was younger, and she doesn't want Lisa's son to go on a mission because she obviously didn't have the best experience in the Mormon church. I for sure feel like this conversation will go to Lisa eventually, and while Heather's intentions are probably, coming from a good place, but I feel like to insert herself in Lisa's son business is not going to go well. We see a couple scene, Seth and Meredith. I don't know why, but I've always liked their relationship. They're coming up with a new podcast together, and that's pretty cool. Meredith also mentions that she's going to invite the girls to Palm Springs. Seth says, "Who are you going to invite?" And Meredith says all the girls except Angie K. So speaking of Angie K, we see her first scene as an official housewife. We meet her daughter and her husband. I didn't know that she and her husband owned 100 hair salons. That's pretty cool. Angie talks to her husband about Heather because she knows things are not that clean with her, so she's hoping that things will become better. The next scene is Monica, also her first scene as a housewife, and she's with her mom. She's 50% Colombian, 50% Portuguese. I think that's super cool. So her mom became a Mormon when Monica was 5. She got married, and she was financially very stable. But now that she's divorced, she has none of that money, and she relies on a business that she has where she sells like baby blankets and stuff like that. But it's very like Etsy, you actually doing your own thing. It's not like you have a factory or whatever. That's what I'm trying to say. So she's hanging out with her mom and her daughter. They're working on their stuff, and she tells them that she's going to be hanging out with a new group of girls, and she's nervous, and she says that just recently she went to the Louis Vuitton store because she wants to have something nice. She's not necessarily wealthy as the rest of them, so she doesn't want him to be making fun of her for having a smaller house. And that kind of touched me because she started crying, and I feel like it was a very real, vulnerable moment of her, letting those walls down. So we move on to Whitney and Angie K going on a double date with their husbands. Like I said earlier, I think Whitney likes Angie K. I think they're going to be pretty good friends this season. But they're talking about just couple stuff, issues that they might have, just like little fun thing. Not fun, but like just small things that they're like kind of laughing about. So when Whitney mentions the girls' trip, Angie says, "Oh, well, I have not heard anything about that. Like, what are you talking about?" And Whitney says, "Yeah, Meredith is hosting this trip." So they realize that Meredith didn't invite her. So Angie says she's confused by that because she has been very nice to Meredith. And the husband jumps in and says that they helped her to get some people's hair done or whatever. Angie says that Heather also didn't invite her to the event last week, so it feels like she's being iced out. So Whitney says, "Do you want to be my plus one?" And of course, Angie says yes. The next scene is Heather and Monica. They're going shopping for the trip to Palm Springs. they're getting to know each other. Monica says she was friends with Jen, so that's how she met Angie K. That's her connection to the circle. Then Heather says, oh, well, I went to high school with Angie K, but even though I know her a long time, I do not like her. I think she's catty, and I'm not interested in her. I hope she doesn't come to the trip. And I was just thinking, damn, Heather, tell us how you really feel. She did not sugarcoat that at all. Okay, so then Monica says that she's kind of a Mormon. And Heather says, what do you mean you're kind of sort of a Mormon? So she says, yeah, I was raised Mormon. I was married in the church, but then I was excommunicated, which we saw that in the trailer. But the reason she was excommunicated was because she was sleeping with her brother-in-law. What the actual hell? She and Heather bond and how the church is harder on the women than on the men, but I don't care about that right now. How are you going to cheat on your husband with your brother-in-law? Oh, no, I do not like that. No wonder she has no money for her husband. He made sure she gained nothing. So then we see the women getting ready for the trip, picking out outfits and stuff. I have to talk about this clip. Like, it was just very short, but Mary Cosby was with her son, and she called the hotel in advance and asked if they had Dom Perignon. I was laughing so hard. Just like, she's just so funny unintentionally. It's so funny. Okay, so then they get to the airport. Everybody is there except Whitney. She texted Meredith that she was going to go on a different flight. And obviously that's because she was going with Angie. So they arrive at this pink place called Pixie Motel. But here's the thing. Whitney took another flight with Angie, but it was an earlier flight, so they got there first than anyone. Also, side note, while they were at the airport, Lisa Barlow was becoming unhinged because she lost her ring on the bathroom. She was going all over looking for it, up and down, side to the side, left to right, screaming, and unfortunately, she couldn't find it. And she says that it was a $60,000 ring. Lisa is talking to John on the phone. She's talking to the securities at the airport. She's all over the place. Then they get on a Sprinter. This group loves a Sprinter. And all they're talking about is this ring. So Lisa is calling her jeweler to get another one. But she's still really upset. And I feel bad for her. That would suck if that was me. So again, Whitney and Angie are already there. And they're hanging out at the pool. So the women start to arrive. And as they're opening up the door, Meredith is, that's where the episode ends. So we didn't get to see what happened this week, but next week is gonna go down. Y'all remember that clip where Meredith says, "You can leave"? That's gonna be next week. Her and Angie are going to get into it. I really liked this episode, even though there wasn't drama. I feel like it was a great episode to kind of lay the foundation of stuff. So I am super excited for next week. But you guys, let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts about Angie K not being invited? And what are your thoughts about Monica and some of the things that she told us? Let me know in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.